It's been raining literally almost every single day nonstop. I have been enjoying just being on Twitter and just living my life, not always like on every single social media platform. I have a TikTok account, but it's not active. Hope y'all are doing well if you're new to my channel. So, as you can see with all my blankets, I've just been trying to enjoy my rest and the peace and quiet when I can get it. And I was kind of like in a meditative state, and I had some like frequency music in the background. And as I was laying here, I'm kind of thinking to myself, CERN. I don't know like why that came up. And guys, excuse how I look. I am trying to relax. So all my matte lipsticks and stuff like that like is in my vanity, and the only thing that was like sticking out of my make one of my beauty bags was like my MAC red shade. And I said, okay, I don't want to go on camera with like my lips completely bare, so I'll just smack on whatever I can find, and that's what I'm doing. So this is all for you guys because I'm going to take this off my lips as soon as I get off of here. um like when I say it's been raining nonstop, like every single day, like right now, me being on live with you all is like the smallest amount, like the longest amount of time. Excuse me, I'm kind of tired. The longest amount of time that there's not been constant thunder, lightning bolts. Like it's been so extreme that one of the beautiful trees in front of my house, like the branch, according to what one of our neighbors said, like it was struck by lightning. And his son pointed out like all these trees on our block, like these are like huge beautiful trees, like grand looking trees. And he helped like move it like away from like obviously our property, and he's been helping other houses. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like I can honestly say every single day it's been like movie theater performance rain, like intense thunder, lightning. Like I can't even put it into words. Like abnormal, abnormal. So I hate to use the word conspiracy, so I'll use the word theory. And I've seen so many people have so many different ideas about, in specific to the submarine, the Titanic submarine. You know, there's like at least 10 or 12 theories that I've collected from just this morning. I think as it stands right now, they have less than, if they're even in there, they have less than like 14, I think, 15 or 14 hours left of oxygen. And there's people out here who don't even think that they're in there. You know, there's actually people out here that are like, they're not in there. It's a distraction, you know? And then there's other really smart people who are like, oh, no, they are in there, but they're not in there for the Titanic necessarily. They're in there to scout property because they're billionaires. And we all know how Elon Musk, whether he's on the good side of history or the bad, it's hard to tell with him. Elon is quite androgynous, if that's how you even say it. But like in terms of like the spectrum of good and bad and evil, like Elon always seems to be kind of like conspicuous. And I feel like Elon is one of those billionaires that you can't really tell, like what is the angle. Is it to really help humanity push us forward? Or is this some other kind of wasteland project that's really just a cover up for getting more money off the government and their friends and their buddies, and they're wasting money? You know, they're plotting around so-called spaces that we can't access. The regular non 1%, 5% human being walking this planet, we can't go in a time travel machine. We haven't even seen an actual portal machine. We know this shit exists. We know this technology exists, but most of the public doesn't have access to it. We can't just walk into Walmart or walk into Target and say, pull up a teleportation pod, please, put it in my cart. Like, we don't have that ability, but I know that, like, these billionaires, especially, y'all, they have this ability. There's one movie that when I was in college, before I graduated college, I don't know how I came across this, but there was some kind of like discussion post, like homework. And I remember I came across a film that was like kind of a film in Hollywood that was like blacklisted. And in that time when it was made, it was all about like obeying, like being tricked to obey, like how the media manipulates the public. It was so deep. And there was a scene in the actual movie that I'm thinking of now where they showed politicians and billionaires and really high wealthy earner um puppeteer millionaires that were at like a gala or something, and then the swing the swing the scene quickly switched, and like in that scene, like the actors, like they had to like portray them kind of like snapping out of like their role. And what did they show? What were they led to? A freaking teleportation. Am I saying that right? A teleport device, whatever, that they could bounce from planet to planet. Now, people always say how they're putting the truth in cartoons, they're putting the truth in movies, and the fake in reality. You know what I'm saying? So some people who are like really enlightened, they're thinking above just, oh, a whale swallowed it, oh, a squid. Like, there's people that are thinking like deeper. You feel what I'm saying? And I respect it. I'm respecting all the theories. I'm respecting all the opinions of people that are trying to piece together this fascinating story, you know? And I feel as a collective, we're all trying to figure out, why is this happening? And if there's actual people in there like they say, I believe the good in humanity and all of us is being shown right now. So regardless of whatever is like, whatever it could be covering up, for those that like have that angle and that perspective, it's like, look at the love frequency, like look at the care of us for the not just the ocean now, because now the ocean is being talked about more, which is a whole other topic. But now it's like going into the fact that, like, even though we don't like billionaires, we don't respect them, we know that they're grimy, we know that they're really, like, a lot of them are really bad people, there's still like this fabric of people that all of us, that I see within all of us as a collective, where we're just like, at the end of the day, like, we don't want anyone to be in pain, even if it's their own inflicted pain. Where like there's so many levels of consciousness to this story right here. There's so much that is going to be unfolding on the collective, but there's so many angles. I even heard one of the wackiest angles, and I don't want to say wacky, but like, I'll use the word wacky because when I saw it and I read it, I was like thrown for a loop. Like, if this actually was possible, this is like insane. Like, this planet, reality, like all this is just like the craziest thing ever. And God has jokes, and we as co-creators have jokes, and like this is like the gnarliest, craziest thing I've ever heard. Like, I saw something going around where people were like, oh, what if they went through some like time portal or something like where time rewinded and they're actually the ones, the submarine is actually the ones that caused the Titanic to sink and they went back in time. Like, do you see how insane all of this is turning out to be? Like, it goes so deep to the point where people are bringing up the firmament and they're bringing up all types of stuff to do with like our ozone layer and what we live in and how we oxygen, how we get oxygen, what's beneath the Atlantic Sea, what's beneath the Black Sea, what's beyond that. Like this is so, this goes so deep, like literally, like all of this right now that's happening with the fires, air quality, like the whole thing is insane. Like the whole thing is insane. And I literally just had to get that peace and quiet for once without all the banging and the trees and the wind and all this like a movie theater set outside happening right now, you know? I was just laying here and it was like a transcendental thought and it was like, "Whoa, bro. I've never heard anybody mention CERN. I've not heard anybody yet mention CERN. I've heard about an unidentified creature that possibly could have swallowed them. That was going around and people were like, "Oh, there's a banging noises." Well, what is a banging noises? How do you like the whole thing is just so crazy, you know? And then there's other people who think that they're kidnapped, like this is all planned, or it could be some kind of like Epstein Island shit going on. Like, I don't know. You know, I haven't pulled any cards on it, but I'm just like, at this point, really and truthfully, I am more entertained and I am more aware of just basking in them and the amazement of all of us, you know? Everybody has a different idea of what's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Like even when it came to New York and the so-called wildfires from Canada that spread down to New York and other areas up north, like everybody has a different opinion of what's really happening. Some really think it's Canada and others don't think it's Canada at all. You know, some think it's Russia. Like everybody right now is going into like an exploration mode in the mind. And I think that it's healthy because now we're going to be able to go even farther and ask even deeper questions. And especially when it comes to technology and the ocean, I wouldn't want to say the government because obviously like they're all kind of in bed together, but I want to say outside of that, like there's a deeper thing going on here. There's something deeper brewing here that we're not even like, you know, so-called touching the iceberg of it. We're not even close to what's really happening right now. And I just find it absolutely fascinating that every single person has a completely different idea of of the origin, the root of why they're in there. Why is it a controller? Why why is it billionaires? Why would they do this? You know, everything is like so deep, you know, it's getting so deep and it's getting so raw and real and it's like, whoa, like everything is popping off simultaneously. The banks collapsing, the school system collapsing, everything is going haywire, hey shit, all at once. It's insane. And I can't lie, I'm entertained. I'm like, man, if all of us individually really chose to come down here and we have goals and missions and whatever, like this is really like a freaking movie right here, bro. Like on a like even like this is why I'm saying it's so deep. Like even on a spiritual level, dog. Like if we literally all look down on this realm and said, I want to come down here and I want to see Trump as president and I want to see a bunch of billionaires in a tin can submarine claim to pay 250K a pop with no chair, a sandwich, and a water bottle to see the Titanic. Like, you can't make this shit up. This shit is incredible. Can we just like as beings, like just acknowledge how crazy life is right now, and how crazy just the just a simple nimbleness idea of what life is, and how fleeting everything is, and how insane every, like, we can go and records, and we can do all these things, and we can all come to similar NDEs and DMTs and all types of stuff, and it's like we'll still never know, like the app, like that, like the atom point of all of it. It's like when we uncover something hard, there's another layer. It's like when we get to like that consciousness of truth, there's like another layer that we have to like peel off. And it just seems to me that like it never ends. It's designed to never end. So just when you think that you've got this reality figured out, simulation, life, matrix, whatever, figured out, it gets deeper and deeper. And it's like, bruh, whoever created this game is a genius. Like, whoever came up with this is a freaking genius. A genius. And by come up with something and person, I'm talking about God. The freaking alpha and omega dog. Like, you can't make this shit up. The characters, the people, the politicians, it's a circus, but it's a fun circus. And it's entertaining, and it's crazy, and it's wild. I mean, we lived in a time from 2020, end of 2019, up until this point, 2023, June, quickly going into July, in the blink of an eye, where just a couple years ago, the streets were empty. People couldn't go to school. We're all wearing masks. Like, this shit is crazy. And it never ends. Just when you think the story's over, nope, here comes part two. Titanic part two. Just when you think that you can't see another crazier headline, you see it. Just when you think the economy can't get worse, it gets worse. Just when you think that there can't be a bigger natural disaster, there's another one. It just doesn't stop, and it's like, bruh, this is why I don't judge people that really think that everything is like literally a game. I talked about this way before the pandemic, and I've had my own fair of conclusions or whatever, but it's like, just like how they're trying to put out AI out here and all these robots and stuff, like, it's not too far off, because this is how computers behave, bro. Like, this is like hold, like, just like hear me out. Like, this is literally how computer games, computers, like computer software systems, coding, like, this is how it works. It's at random selection. Like, you, even if, okay, so even on a spiritual level, if you've said and you can recall yourself coming down here through a portal of light, which I can, and you think you're from a, what, Sirius, there's all Planet X. I mean, we can go that deep and talk about star seeds and all that. I mean, we can get into it because I've done all that. Like, I've looked into that. I know. I can actually identify celebrities that I know for a fact were star seeds. Like, that's what I'm on. So, and even after knowing all of that, right, I can still say, like, bruh, the simulation theory is one of the best theories for existence I've ever heard of. Like, bar none. So, I mean, you can't make it up. Like, these freaking so-called billionaires went in a tin can submarine with a Logitech Nintendo looking PlayStation Xbox knockoff controller a game controller to go see the Titanic ship. Like, does that sound real to you? Does that sound like something that a billionaire that's really intelligent would do? Not to me, but see, they probably got all this money. They're so bored that they have to get a thrill off of basically killing themselves. Like, that's how wacky their life is. That's how wacky their reality is, where in their head, that makes sense. But to the rest of us with our thinking caps on, we're like, that's a house. Forget a mortgage. 250K is a house. Funny enough, I recently was just reading an article about the housing market, which has always interested me, real estate and all that. And they say the average house, according to this one article, who knows if it's accurate, is like $338,000. So 338K is like the average cost of an American house for a single family or for a single individual that owns it. Like, think about that. So 300K to $338,000, 338K, 338,000 is a house. And you mean to tell me that they're wiping their ass with $250,000 to go see the fucking Titanic? Like, this shit's not reality, bruh. Like, so, I mean, it's just as crazy as talking about fucking unicorns coming out of the sky, And no offense to us that believe in Jesus or Allah or none of that shit, but it's just as crazy, bruh. Like angels, yeah, guardian angels, yeah, archangels, definitely. But like even the idea of like somebody coming through the clouds, like, does this shit sound real to y'all? Like, it just doesn't sound like reality. Like, it doesn't sound, it just sounds weird. Like, a lot of things about how we live life, like art, like this thing we call life, is weird. Is I find very strange and nonsensical. So, with that said, I just wanted to come on here and just kind of spill something out of left field that I picked up on. And I'm like, wait, why don't we know what's going on with CERN? Why have we not focused on CERN? Why do we not know about what's offsetting all these so-called disasters and disappearances and weird weather patterns and all types of stuff? Like, we need to look into this, We need to look into this. So, yeah, I'm curious, beyond the theories, beyond what we think is or is not happening, or what they are or are not covering up. It's like, why are we not going to the fact and the fact that there is devices and there are systems that they have put up and set up that are literally, people have associated these systems with being able to unleash hell, like actual demons, like actual otherworldly creatures that don't like all of us that exist on this realm. Like, why would they create machines to create portals, to create different weather? Why are we not talking about that? Why are we not able to talk about that openly? So it's hard to understand what's going on in terms of why it would work in the media's favor, but there's obviously a lot going on. And just the fact that, we are living amongst people out here that have their own opinion and also say that there's no people. Like, it's fake. It's not real. And then we have other people who are saying, nope, they're in there, but they're trying to, just like how Elon's trying to populate Mars, these billionaires are trying to scout out retail. Oh, not retail, excuse me. scout out, yeah, retail underwater, and that there's something else going on. I've heard the alien thing come up. I've heard so much stuff. Like I'm open to everybody's opinion. I'll put it that way. I don't mind reading different people's opinions. And then when the so-called oxygen that they say they claim was 90 hours, well, it's way less than that now. I think it's what, either by tomorrow morning or afternoon. I'm pretty sure it's morning time. That will be officially out. They will be officially out of oxygen. So the way I'm thinking about it, the way I'm seeing it is, okay, let me see what they're going to report and say once the oxygen's out. Until they can unequivocally say that the mission's over, they're not looking for remains, they're not looking for the submarine, like it's over, it's done for, like capsule closed, literally, like we're not gonna put no money into this, like they're dead, we're gonna assume they're dead, to never, they don't have any food down there since Sunday. If they're lucky, Monday morning, they didn't bring any extra food. They didn't know this was gonna happen to them, allegedly, or whoever's in control of this mission or whatever the hell this is. But that cocky CEO, he's a worse one. And on social media, I was agreeing with a couple people that we think the CEO would either go, if he's actually in there, obviously, he would either go first or second because he's so cocky. Like, if you actually hear his interviews about the actual submarine and how he wanted it to be designed like an elevator and it has one button and all this nonsense, like it was doomed to fail. You know what I'm saying? But in his own words, he wanted to be remembered as an innovator. Now, why would he even say language like that? You see what I'm saying? Like the power of the tongue is very important. So I don't know. I'm gonna kind of hold out definitively what I think it is, but I just know for a fact that in addition to that, the US um sending over $6 billion to Ukraine by mistake, like, bruh, like this shit is like, do you guys see what I'm trying to say? Like it's never ending. Like you unravel one layer and you get like 20 other layers. Like it's crazy town. So, you know, student loan forgiveness pending. No one's gonna pay that shit. They can forget it. Um, nobody's buying into the system anymore, nor should they, especially the education system. And it's basically, the whole system's collapsing on its ass. It doesn't take a scientist to see that. But then the question has to be, what are they willing to do to distract us? If that is the case, what lengths are they willing to go? And that's what's crazy to me, is like, if that's the angle that it is like, bro, what is like the end game? You see what I'm saying? Besides AI, what is the end game? And Elon and his posse and other people like him that run in the same social circles like Elon and these other billionaires, what are they really up to, y'all? Like, this is things that we need to know. Of course, they don't want to just come out and tell us what their evil masterman plans are. But it's like, that's kind of where we're at, is like, the whole thing is strange. You're on this so-called planet called Earth, which is really Gaia, aka Kai, planet Kai. And it's like, you don't want to be here, but you want to go to Mars. You want to go, like, I like, the whole thing is just, man, it's really crazy. But then from a bird's eye view, I pull all the way back from all those things I just said, and I could stand here with my consciousness and say, whoa, if I was God, how does God keep tabs of all this? Like, if that is actually the case, like, how does a God figure that is omnipotent, like, how does it have enough like space to hold all this, billions of people, different countries, different lineages, different events. How does that thing called God keep up with all of this? You know, how can it keep up with all of this? I don't know. So all I know is that I am very interested to see what's going to happen when the news breaks that the oxygen is out. There's no more that whole narrative about 90 hours worth of oxygen, okay? Like when that collapses and they can't even like count down anything, that's what I want to see. I want to see what they're going to say then. How are they going to spin this? Like what could they possibly tell the public? Like you've not actually found it. Okay, the Canadian forces or something like that, they have some kind of device where they claim they heard banging noises. Okay, but what has that led to, my friend? Like they're saying things, but like where's the fruit? Like where's the evidence is what I'm saying. So I'm telling y'all straight up, like I've just been open. I have been open to hearing every theory, every opinion there is. I don't even care if it's as crazy as a volcano erupting or undersea water aliens. Like I don't care. Like people's opinions matter, and like I'm interested in hearing what people think. Like I'm interested, like on Twitter, like especially like I like to see different people's opinions of like what they think this is all about. You know, it's very fascinating to me. But pulling back from all of that, I see the collapse of the system. You know, I see how people are not, buying this 5-day work week, 7-day work week, live to make money, eat shit, die, eat shit, reproduce, die. Like, we're not buying it. You know, a lot of people are like just totally awake and they realize that like it's all fake. This whole thing is fake. Like it's fake, bruh. They're printing money. If they can print money, they can hand out money. Like we get it. We know like the jig is up. We understand that this is all just fucking manufactured, bruh. And that's the point that I'm making is like if that's manufactured, then why can't all this be manufactured? Like that's what I think a real intelligent person would think is like zoom out from all that and be like, well, it's all fake. You feel me? Like, if that's fake, then it's all fake. So that's just my thoughts, y'all. I'm going to get off of here, okay?